Well, tonight, hundreds of thousands of people will be spending their third night in the dark.
But freezers are thawing and people are getting more frustrated by the day. Our Devin Bartolotta has that story tonight.
They're the last of a dying breed, but right now, they're a lifeline.
We have no lights, no gas, no food.
The ice houses across southeast Louisiana have been filling car after car after car.
Yesterday was crazy. It was crazy.
The owner of the ice house in Kenner says he sold 150,000 pounds of ice Thursday and was on track to sell more than 100,000 more Friday.
You know, sales are up probably 70, 80, almost 100%.
Other shops have sold out every day since the storm as people struggle to save what's in their fridges and keep new groceries cold. Zeta knocked out power to 481,000 Entergy homes, and despite constant work by linemen, 250,000 will spend their third night in the dark.
We're really hopeful that we'll get power by tonight or at least tomorrow.
Local nonprofit Imagine Waterworks has built a map detailing free community power stations and businesses offering Wi-Fi, helping, adapting, and holding out hope that the lights and the refrigerators will kick on soon.
Hopefully by Sunday or Monday we'll be back to normal for everybody's sake, including ours with power.
Devin Bartolotta, Eyewitness News.
Jefferson Parish just released updated times from Entergy, restoration times that is. Much of the West Bank, Metairie, and Kenner should have power back on by tomorrow night. There are some exceptions though, and we have those on our website, WWLTV.com. By the way, Glico says they've restored power to nearly 69,000 of the nearly 73,000 who lost power in their service area during Zeta. They expect to have all the power restored by the end of the day tomorrow.